Hare Krishna. So we are entering into the last section of Bhagavad Gita. So we started with the first section of Bhagavad Gita, which speaks about attaining bhakti through karma yoga. And then in the middle 6 chapters, 7 to 12, exclusively we saw about devotional service. And now the last 6 chapters, starting from 13, which will go up till 18th chapter, we're going to discuss about, or we're going to see that attaining bhakti through jnana yoga. So we start with the first chapter of this section, that is chapter number 13, titled Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness, or Prakriti Purusha Vibhaga Yoga. We start with the first 2 shlokas. Arjuna Vacha Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetrajnameva Cha Etad Veditum Ichchami Jnanam Nyeyam Cha Keshava Shri Bhagavan Vacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetram Ityabhidhiyate Etad yo veti tam prahuhu Kshetrajna eti tadvidaha. So here Arjuna is asking a question and Krishna is going to answer. Now it's a very important thing to understand that we have just transitioned from Bhakti Yoga and we have come to a very important section, or the last section of attaining bhakti through jnana yoga. So before we get into the shloka, what is the relationship between the 2 chapters? How is this transition happening? Well, that's very important to understand. Now in shloka number 12.7, there's a nice understanding that is there that Lord Krishna has promised to save his devotees from the path of birth and death. And now in chapters 13 to 18, the last 6 chapters, now Krishna is going to fulfill this promise by supplying the philosophical knowledge necessary to extricate oneself from the material entanglement. So this jnana that is there, that Krishna is going to give us, the knowledge, has its use in assisting our detachment from Maya, from this material world, and our subsequent attachment to Krishna. When we utilize this knowledge as a means to attain devotion, it becomes a part of bhakti. So this is what is the section that we are entering into, and this is what is the connection. So now let's see what Arjuna and Krishna are speaking here. Arjuna Vacha, Arjuna said, Prakritim Purusham Chaiva. That, okay, Etad Veditum Ichchami, I wish to know. What? First, Prakritim, that is material nature. Second, Purusham, the enjoyer. Kshetram, the field. Kshetrajnam, the knower of the field. Jnanam, knowledge. And Geyam, that is object of knowledge. Now these are the six things that Arjuna wants to know. This is the question that he has asked. Now Krishna is going to answer. Now Krishna is going to speak about the Kshetra and Kshetrajna. So let's see in shloka number 2. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Idam shariram kaunteya kshetram iti abhidhiyate. O kaunteya, idam shariram, this body is called as kshetra, the field of activities. And etad yaha veti tam prahuhu kshetrajya iti tad vidaha. So the one who knows this body is called as the knower of the field, or kshetrajna. So a very nice, basically nice set of verses, where for the first time, these two verses are put together in at one place, where Arjuna is speaking and Krishna is speaking immediately. Krishna is answering immediately. So now Arjuna is asking for which 6 elements or which 6 aspects to understand. First, Prakriti. He wants to understand about the material nature. Then Purusha, he wants to understand who is the enjoyer. Then he wants to understand Kshetra, that is the field of activities. And Kshetragna, knower of the field of activities. And then he wants to know about the knowledge. And the last one, that is object of knowledge, Jnaya, object of knowledge. So now in this particular shloka, Krishna is talking about Kshetra and Kshetragna. So let's try to understand what Krishna is trying to give us here. This body is called the field, Kshetra, and that one who knows this body is called the knower of the field, Kshetragna. So this body is called as Kshetra, and the one who knows this body is called as Kshetragna. Now this body is the field of activity for conditioned soul. The conditioned soul is entrapped in the material existence and he attempts to lord it over material nature. And so according to his capacity to dominate material nature, he gets a field of activity. That field of activity is the body. So what is this body all about? This body is given by the material nature. Based on what? Based on the capacity to do sense gratification. What was the desire of the person when he was quitting the previous body? Based on that, based on the karma of the person, this body is awarded. And this body is awarded so that the person can continue to fulfill his desires of sense gratification or to continue to dominate the material nature. So this body is given, and this body acts as an instrument to do various sense gratification. Now this is a very nice point to understand, that why this body is called as field. Why field? We know, what do we understand by field? Field means where the plants grow, where the crops grow. So this body is also field. Field where the growth of experiences of happiness and distress happens. Or the growth of a tree of repeated births happen. Because every activity of this body or every activity of the person which he does through this body actually gives rise to a reaction. And that reaction molds the next body for the next life. So it is called as field. Now here it is given, what is the body? So the body is made up of senses. This is the point. The body is made up of various senses. We have got different senses in this body. The external senses, the internal senses. And the master of all the senses is the mind. So this body basically is consisting of the gross body and the subtle body. So gross body is made up of the Pancha Mahabhuta elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. And when this gross body is made, then senses are also given. So we have the 5 knowledge acquiring senses: eyes, nose, ears, then tongue and skin. And then when it comes to the 5 working senses, so that is speech, hands and legs, genitals and rectum. And the master of all of them is the mind. And mind is a part of subtle body. So subtle body consists of mind, intelligence and false ego. So all this together is a machine. All this together is a system that is called as the field. And who is there in the field? Here it is given. Now the person who identifies himself with the body is called Kshetragna, the knower of the field. So we spirit souls who are there in this body, we are called as the knower of the field. Because we are there in this body, we know what's happening. So we are called as knower of the field. So hope we understood the field and knower of the field. Now, the difference between the two, that is the field and knower of the field, it's not very difficult to understand. Here Prabhupada is saying. How come? How come it's easy? Let's try to understand. Now, see, in chapter 2, Shloka number 13, we saw Dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara prapte dhiras tatra namuyati. So in this particular verse, Krishna is saying that the person goes through boyhood to youth to old age, and finally at the time of death, he goes to another body. So now what is happening here? In boyhood to youth to old age, the person is not changing. The identity of the person is same. Only the body is changing. So here we understand that the person is the one who is eternal, who is there always. He is the knower. And here we see that the body is changing, and that is the field. So this is the difference between the field and the knower of the field, and they are distinct, they are different. So when we are using various articles in our day-to-day life, be it clothes, be it gadgets, or be it anything for that matter, we know very clearly that my clothes are different from me. I'm using the clothes. Similarly, with time, when we progress in the path of transcendence, what happens? The person realizes that I am different from this body, and I'm using this body. I am not this body, I'm using this body. So this is how the understanding of the person grows when he starts practicing the path of transcendence, and especially the path of devotional service. So in this way we understand the difference between Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Now Prabhupada is talking about what is given in the first 6 chapters, middle 6 chapters and last 6 chapters. So in the first 6 chapters we understood about the knower of the field, that is spirit soul, and the position by which he can understand the Supreme Lord. So this is described. So we saw various things there. We even saw Ashtanga Yoga also as a part of this section. In the middle 6 chapters, which is the Bhakti section, so it's given about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead, His position, and also our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And another very important thing that is mentioned is how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is superior and we are subordinate to Him. So this is very nicely elaborated in the middle 6 chapters. Now finally in the last 6 chapters, out of which 2 verses we have already seen of chapter 13, in that what is given? How the living entity comes into contact with material nature and how he is delivered by the Supreme Lord through different methods of fruitive activities, cultivation of knowledge and discharge of devotional service. So all these different points are mentioned very nicely. So let's go through this very wonderful section and try to go deeper and deeper and deeper in each verse and try to understand how we can improve our devotional service according to what Krishna is speaking in these verses. So let's continue from the next video. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna